Hi, I'm Keith and welcome to my art studio, where today on the palette I have this troll. He is spectacular. He's awesome. I love him. First thing I need to say before I go any further is I am not AI, and this is not AI. I have a video coming up that you can watch to prove that. This guy here was a sketch, lots of 6B pencil. It has some ink wash, a little bit of acrylic paint, watercolor. He was really fun. I like the image. I like the look in his eye. I love the expression on his face. This guy was really fun to do. If you want to learn how to do this kind of stuff, just check out the video. If you want to be entertained, I think this stuff's fun to watch. I was a Bob Ross kid. I used to love watching Bob Ross, and that was way before I was ever able to afford paints or any kind of art supplies. I was a kid. So I find this stuff very entertaining as well. So before we go any further, I always ask this, please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I will say this, my TikTok account is blowing up. I'm getting more and more subscribers and comments. I do appreciate that. My YouTube channel is a dud. Anyway, thank you TikTok for this, and here's your video.
Once upon a time, in a land not so far away, there lived a troll named Ted, who had peacefully resided in a cave in the woods for many years. That peaceful existence came to an end when a family of goblins moved into his neighborhood. The loud music from their cave, 3 caves down the block, thumped so loudly that it rattled the dishes in Ted's cupboard. Frustrated, he decided it was time to confront the father of the goblin family and address the noise. As Ted approached the goblin's cave, he noticed trash strewn across the ground leading up to the entrance, and an offensive odor that he couldn't quite identify filled the air. "Howdy, neighbor," the father goblin said, raising his hand with a grin on his face. "How are you doing today? It's a nice day out, and we were planning to go around the neighborhood to introduce ourselves, but it looks like you saved us the trouble of coming to your place." Annoyed by the loud music, Ted replied, "Do you mind turning your music down? I can barely hear you." "Oh, that's no problem," the goblin said, turning to face his cave. "Brenda, tell the kids to turn down the music," he yelled over the sound of the music. His loud voice did little to ease Ted's headache. The music eventually died down, and Ted introduced himself. "Hi, I'm Ted. I've lived here for many years." "I see you have some kids." The goblin smiled with pride and replied, "You bet. I've got 12 kids, 6 of them under the age of 10. "I see," Ted said, "but you seem to have quite a mess here. Is that how it's going to be? And the loud music?" "Oh," the goblin replied, surprised. "I plan to have the kids clean up this mess soon," the goblin said. "For the record, what is your name?" Ted asked, sounding like he was taking notes for a police report. "My name is Randy," the goblin replied. "Brenda is my wife and my kids." "Never mind the kids. I didn't bring anything to write with, and I won't remember anyway," Ted said, annoyed. "I really don't want to sound rude, but I've lived in this neighborhood for a long time, and my neighbors and I like it quiet. If you know what I mean." Ted stared at Randy, as if he was about to punch him. "Yeah, I get it," Randy replied nervously. "I'll get this mess cleaned up and make sure the music stays at an acceptable level." "Thanks. Just so you know, my brother-in-law is the sheriff," Ted added ominously. "Is that a threat?" Randy asked, swallowing hard. "What do you think, Randy?" Ted said, glancing down at a pile of used diapers at his feet. "Now I understand the source of that smell. I'll give you until tomorrow to clean up this disaster, or I'll call Rick." "Rick the sheriff?" Randy asked, his voice shaky. "Just so you know," Ted said, looking around the front yard, "I don't think you fit in here, and I would suggest you look for a new place to live." Randy crossed his arms and snapped back. "That's uncalled for and a bit rude, don't you think?" "That smell is rude, Randy," Ted said, pushing a finger into Randy's chest. "You have until tomorrow. Got it?" With that, Ted turned and left. A week later, Ted was shopping at the local market when he noticed Randy, his wife, and a small group of his 12 kids at a candy stand making a ruckus. Shaking his head, Ted could see the other patrons walking away and getting as far away from the group of goblins as they could. For a moment, Ted considered walking over to Randy and telling him off again, but then he saw his brother-in-law, the sheriff, and 2 deputies enjoying lunch at an outdoor cafe, and he walked over. "Hey, Muffin Pie, how are you doing?" Ted asked aloud. "I told you not to call me that," Muffin Pie replied. "But that's your name," Ted replied. I go by Tex, and you know that. Now go back and start over, or I'm not talking to you. Muffin Pie, Tex commanded. Fine, Ted replied and walked 10 feet away, turned back and asked, Hey, Tex, how's it going? Now wasn't that easy? Tex asked. I'm enjoying some lamb chops and a turkey leg. You should try it. This place is the best. That's fantastic, Ted said, ignoring most of what Tex said. Hey, there's a family of goblins that moved into my neighborhood. You should keep an eye on them. Randy and Brenda? Tex asked. And their 12 cute kids? Yeah, we've met, Tex replied. And that's it? Ted asked. Have you been to their cave recently? I was there 2 days ago, Tex replied. They invited me over for a barbecue. It was almost as good as this.